innocence faded in a world that's been hated.
This is a conversation with Dr. Marianna Prokopi-Demetriades, a pioneer in the biotech industry, a co-founder of 3 innovative companies, and a trailblazer in the field of personalized medicine and research oncology, and above all, a dear friend for over 20 years.
Good morning.
Welcome, Marianna.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a bit odd to see you in a professional studio instead of being around having fun with the kids. So thank you very much.
It's the first episode of the new look of the podcast, and I thought that it's a very suitable choice to have you as the first guest of this new, let's say, season of podcast. And talking about trailblazers and pioneers, I can kick off the discussion from there, because last time I checked, you are a trailblazer. And trailblazers are those who create new trails. So a trail can be a path. And those who create new trails leave marks for others to follow. Do you consider yourself a trailblazer?
It's a very deep and heavy word, I think. In your life, you're making steps towards, having an impact in the community, in the society. I think every person wants to leave behind something that either he's going to be remembered or he's going to make, a little step in the betterness of the world. So I wouldn't say trailblazer. I will say that I'm trying to leave something behind me.
Well, I would say that it's leaving something behind is what makes life worthwhile. And in the biotech space, it's quite inevitable that an element of what people like yourself do is new and novel. And something that fascinates me is this dance between, let's say, exploration, which is daring to veer into the unknown. In the old times, veering into the unknown meant discovering a new continent, for example, like Christopher Columbus, who did with America. But in the space of innovation, it can be about discovering new ideas or inventing new solutions, and basically veering into new worlds of possibilities. And the duality that comes to mind that somebody in your position encounters, I believe, is the duality between exploration or adventure, let's say, or veering into the new lands, and stability or structure. So in the biotech, let's say, space, I believe that there are 2 very heavy elements. One is exploration, and the other one is building. So you have to discover something new and build it. If you are only a discoverer, in my mind, and if you are only an explorer and you never throw an anchor or you never actually settle and build what it is that you are discovering, chances are what you have in mind as your vision diminishes or withers. So I am very interested in this dance between exploration and settlement or building. So the explorers and the builders. Do you encounter this dance in your work, like being free thinkers, being inventors, being explorers, and at the same time having the responsibility to actually devote time and resources and people into building the companies and managing the companies? So do you see this polarity in your work?
You're making me stressed. Look, science is a very exciting field. You have to be open-minded. You have, to look deeper in your field, innovate, be pioneer. At the same time, you have to be excellent in what you're doing. Science without excellence, they don't go hand in hand. So in what we try to build with my co-founders the last year, it's always to be open-minded, try to work on innovative ideas, and when I say innovative, to promote and to give the right solutions for people that they are in great need. In order to do that, you need a dedicated team. You need a team that they are visionaries. They follow or they create the tracks with you, and at the same time, they are excellent.
Mhm.
And excellence is in quality of what you're producing, also in the way of the thinking. So in the field of science, innovation and quality, they have to go together.
Which reminds me of the trip that we took in the summer to Florence, and when I personally encountered David of Michelangelo for the first time, this towering statue of over 5 meters tall, and that got me thinking about once again this interplay between vision and discipline or excellence. Okay, so you have on the one hand, Michelangelo had this famous quote that he said, I saw the angel in the marble, and I carved until I set him free.
Mm-hmm.
So for Michelangelo, to use a metaphor, which I think is very suitable for the purpose of this talk, for Michelangelo, the envisioned angel, the vision was the angel, the image of the angel, okay? And the excellence in that case was to carve the block of marble and to chisel away everything that was not the angel, so as to arrive at the manifestation of the vision. So in that case, and it's a very nice example that I use in my trainings, you have the vision of the angel, and then with your mastery, your discipline, your excellence, and your persistence, you chisel away everything that is not the angel so as to arrive at your goal. And it is exactly that you have to have both these boxes checked. So the vision and the excellence. So the skills, the mastery, the people, and procedures, regulatory compliance, making sure that ethical considerations, bioethics, I think,
Bioethics.
and relevant considerations are met. So this is part of the discipline of the carving of the vision. And I guess one of the challenges of moving from a startup phase where you are heavily driven by the vision into actually building, as we said, so from the vision to the actual building phase of the venture is the need to scale. So if you are moving from vision to implementation, there is obviously, so as to bring your vision, let's say, to the world, to meet your purpose, as you said in the beginning, so as to deliver to the community the benefit that you intend with your efforts. At some point, you will need to make the relevant decisions and actions to scale, to become a proper company or enterprise, and to gradually deliver the goods or the services to the community and to the ecosystems that you want to serve. What are the main challenges of moving from a startup phase or from the vision phase to the scaling in size? Because I know that when you are in the lab, because I remember from our talks, you are a team of two often in the beginning, like you and the supervisor, right? So when you start your lab endeavors, you have one supervisor and the relationship is quite simple. So you follow the instructions of the supervisor. Now, my understanding is correct, and please correct me, is that you have three companies. So from two people, you have actually moved into having 22 employees and more than 20 investors.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long journey.
And the main stakeholder is a community. So
you don't wake up suddenly and you have 3 companies. You starting as a junior scientist, and slowly you're trying to see where do you belong in this world. And when I mean world, I mean also in the scientific world. So you starting as a person. Most of the times, as you said, you are stuck in a lab with a couple of people following up instructions. And this is also part of the training, so it's not a negative thing. Most of the people in my field, they might continue with the academia, within research positions. But together with my co-founder Kostas, we took the risky decision to set up our own community, our own establishment. So we were 2, then we became 3, 4, and now suddenly within the last year and a half, we are 22. 22 people that they left their secure jobs to follow the dream. So it's amazing. Suddenly you have people that they really believe in the mission. At the same time, in order to do this, you need the financial means. So you have to think out of the box, get out of the lab, and start funding your dream. So you need investors. We were unfortunate in the start. It was really difficult in the Cypriot ecosystem to convince people to invest in what we're doing. And remember, we started around 2015 after the financial crisis. So very difficult, a very difficult era in the Cypriot economy. But as I always say, you need one yes. So the first yes for us, it was a milestone. After that, fundraising became easier. I will not say easy because every time you are at a different step, you're talking for raising bigger amounts, serious money. But at some point, you need strategic partners. So at the same time, we're very, very lucky to meet the people from Kinesis Ventures, that they were great friends and also great mentors. Then a corporate VC, as BIS, that he gave us. It's our home now. I mean, finally, after so many years visiting different labs, having all our stuff in the car, now we actually have a home. We have labs, and we have to start following SOPs, standard operating procedures. Finally, we got our ISO 9001, the GMP ISO 13485. So we are accredited companies with our bases in Cyprus that we can sell internationally biotech products. So it was a great journey.
fantastic and very inspiring. How do you navigate the tension between all these expectations, let's say, of investors, of regulatory requirements, of quality standards? So because this created specific constraints, let's say, within which to operate and to function. So how do you navigate the tension between these, let's say, rigidity on one hand, and on the other hand, the inevitable need to remain free-spirited and open-minded in the space of biotech and innovation that requires a disruptive mode of thinking? Is this a tension that you still feel after having moved from the startup to the growth phase of the ventures?
Look, for us, it wasn't that difficult because it came as a very slow progress. So it didn't happen from one day to another. It took us around 3 to 4 years to be stable, and then slowly start following the SOPs and the regulatories. But when you need help, you need to bring in the right people. So we invested a lot in the team. We have amazing scientists that have experience from SOPs. We brought in external consultants. So, of course, you cannot do everything by yourself. I understand that many people that they are in the startup phase, they are really, financials are very constrained. So you need to find solutions and work around it, because in the startup ecosystem, time is very important. If you are too slow, your innovative idea is not innovative anymore. So time is of an essence. So you have to build a very nice community and incredible team, but you need to give them always feedback and try to make them, be in the same track, with deadlines, with milestones. And, always you need to have a business strategy at all the times, that you have to incorporate changes on a monthly basis. So, yeah, it didn't happen overnight.
Mike Tyson, the famous boxer, once said the following very quotable thing. He said that everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, which basically sums up the idea that even though our plans may have to change, and they often do, look at COVID and how disruptive it has been for plans. Regardless of that, however, we needn't David. We always need to have a vision or a goal, which is a micro vision, let's say, and a plan, and a strategic plan, because, and these are my own thoughts now, without a specific plan or a specific direction, we become susceptible to the forces of entropy. Entropy in the sense that our attention withers, our resources wither, and we become less efficient and effective in our forward motion. So in my experience, having a plan is a must, even though most likely plans get updated and adjusted. Do you find that the plans and the strategic directions that you develop are accurate enough so as to withstand the external forces of the economy and internal, perhaps, pressures?
Look, you always need to be focused in your main vision. But in our space, you need to adapt really fast in either the changes or maybe a bad planning. So you need always to be open to feedback, either from people that they are already in the field and they are in more mature positions, or you can always, see and have a sense of where the market goes, especially in our biotech field. However, the COVID for us was a very difficult area, because funding was non-existent. So we had to survive. It could be really easy to start working on, COVID solutions, but this for us will be a complete change in our focus. And our focus is the holistic approach in regenerative medicine and to improve the quality of life in oncology people. So we're very focused on what we're doing, and we always had a plan A, B, and C. So you have to adapt really fast in the space that we are.
What are some of the greatest challenges that you have faced, let's say, in the past year with the projects and the need to implement the plans that you have?
Last year was a very exciting year. From 4 people, now we have a team of 22. We had to set up a small manufacturing facility for 2 out of the 3 companies, and an R&D lab fully equipped for the third. The people had to be trained. We had to, pass and get certified by regulatory bodies to get approved for products, to file for patents, defend the patents, raise money at the same time. And now I can say that entering 2024, we have a very clear vision. We have a very nice baseline. We have an incredible team. So now it's the growth phase. And growth phase, of course, it means entering sales, entering international markets, change of attitude. You are not only a scientist now, you're not only an entrepreneur, you are a person that has a company. You are responsible for the families of your colleagues, your employees. You are responsible for your shareholders. And I think it's, you mature as well and you try to find your position in all this.
In the field of my work, which includes leadership and employees' engagement, I find that one of the most difficult things to achieve with the workplace is how to keep people engaged and motivated. And this becomes more and more of a puzzle that is very difficult to solve, especially because of the different generations in the workplace, the impact of social media, the external influences from other industries and countries. And I find that one of the most difficult pieces of the puzzle is the non-monetary motivation piece. Because, okay, the financial remuneration aspect of the employment relationships is certain. It's something necessary. Having a strong financial remuneration system is always needed as a hygiene factor, actually, because if you pay people unfairly, you lose the game from the beginning. So you have to at least pay people fairly so as to tick the box of the financial remuneration. But the equally, if not more important piece of the puzzle is how do you keep people motivated and engaged in ways which cannot be monetarily appraised? Do you find that the fact that your companies are active in the personalized medicine and research oncology, in a sense, domains are elements that help keeping people engaged and motivated, or even helping you keep the turnover rates low? Is there a valid association between the communal contribution aspect of your companies and the happiness of the employees in your companies?
You're very correct. I mean, in our field, I think most of the people in the team, all of the team, they believe that we have an impact in the community. And we are a little bit different. We are open to, communicating with the community. We're trying to open up a channel, so bridge the gap between, lab-based work, the clinics, the medical professionals, but we also open up our channels to the community, patient associations, families, the patients themselves. So it's something that we can actually touch and see the impact within the community. And Cyprus helps because we are a very small community. So you are always a phone call away or a message away from the patient that you possibly help. So this helps a lot motivating the team. Of course, we try to have a happy environment. As I always say, science is fun. And people, they are teasing me, what do you mean? I mean, we do a lot of exciting work in our daily routine. So you don't just sit on the desk and be on the computer. You are active. You play around. One day you might have amazing results, and the other day might be a disaster in the production. So you need to be there, and as a founder, you need to show compassion. it's not just an employee, it's part of the team. It's the team, it's the company, it's the product. I mean, so I hope that I try to transmit that we are all together in this, and you have to show your appreciation. You have to give the feedback, but you need also to hear their feedback. I think at some point last year, maybe I started losing myself. I became maybe um, I don't know how to put that, stricter, or I thought that it wasn't me. I lost my identity. So I had to revisit myself and say, okay, things are getting serious, but you have always to be the Marianna that you know. Keep your identity. Um, don't lose yourself. So I had to revisit my soul. I attend some leadership courses with the University of Cambridge, so it was life changing. 2 days of working with yourself. So yeah, you have to do things to improve not only the team around you, but yourself first of all. So yeah, that was my challenge for this year.
Very good points there to delineate. I hope I don't get sidetracked by my train of thought, but I will stick with 2 points. The first one is you have mentioned, at least indirectly, that the very nature of your ventures is adventurous. Yes. So because of the fact that it has to do with something novel, with deadlines, having to deliver an inspiring promise to the community. So inevitably, the people who are employed by the ventures will embody this, let's say, creative turbulence or this tension that it comes part and parcel with being in a disruptive biotech venture or ventures. And my question is, do you find that there is a correlation between the people who are suitable for working with your companies and their temperament?
Yes.
So have you found that, or perhaps some people are suitable for certain positions and not others? Because if you have a certain type of DNA in the corporate body, which is we have to create, we have to venture into the unknown, we have deadlines, we have to get subsidies, we may not get subsidies. This is the opposite of being in a conservative environment, like let's say the civil service as an extreme. So this is the biotech field is the extreme opposite of being in a stable workplace, in my mind. So do you find that there is a correlation between the people that you look to hire or the specific positions in the companies with this, let's say, adventurous spirit of the enterprise?
What I love in the team is that the diversity. We have people at all ages, around their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and now 70s. So it's an amazing blend. And you can see a very nice incorporation of ideas, experience, and also, fresh ideas. You need the new generation to start, speaking out their mind. At the same time, you have the solidarity of the older generations that you do need it as well. So for me, what I look is for the people that they recently join the team or they will join, to blend nicely with everybody else. So we need characters that they are open-minded, but at the same time, they believe in the vision, in what we try, to do and to offer in this world. But I always look for, people with a nice smile and people that they are genuine, and you can have very nice discussions with them and have a nice energy around you. I don't know how to explain this, but energy really plays the major role in the balances between people within the teams. On the other hand, we don't only have scientists, we have people that they work in the production, we have people in the financial department, in the creativity department, the sales department. We work a lot with lawyers, auditors, so it's a very nice blend. It's a very nice blend, and I'm very happy with the team.
Thank you. The second point is goes to the Cambridge Leadership course that you undertook recently. Obviously, coming from a research background is what we mentioned in the beginning, with a small team which is primarily focused on research, and now being in charge of a web of stakeholders which include 22 employees and relationships with stakeholders and a number of other dynamics. My question to you was, which was the greatest takeaway you took from the leadership course, and what personal, let's say, lack or challenge do you think that you have to work more to improve? So firstly, what was the main takeaway that was a eureka moment for you from the leadership course with your current web of duties and responsibilities? And secondly, which, let's say, personal attitude or trait or weakness, if I may say, of you have you decided to work to improve following the course? Maybe the two are interrelated.
Yeah, I mean, for people that we spend most of our life in the research field, we have no communication skills at all, no corporate skills at all. And mostly we learn that we have to follow a protocol and to follow seniority. So the senior researcher is the one that is the boss, and it goes like that. Leaving from the lab space and going to the corporate world, it's something completely different. You need to know how to manage and lead relationships at the same time with your team inside the company, at the same time with your shareholders, investors, but also with customers. Now that we are companies that we are in the market. So spending 2 days with people, executive people that they had more experience than me in different fields. It was amazing. We exchanged so many ideas. I learned from them, not only from the professor from the Cambridge, but also from the team. We work on case studies. For me, the main outcome, it was how to remain authentic, but at the same time involve as a person, as a leader, how I can keep growing as a person and keep growing as a company, but at the same time have some procedures that you have to follow. How to remain, corporate relationships, because this is completely another game. As a scientist, I'm always very direct, but if you're going to the corporate game and negotiation game, it's something completely different. So this was an eye-opener for me. I will repeat the course. It was great. It was great. But I have a lot of homework to do. I think I have to take some days off and revisit my notes and recreate a plan for the next year.
Moving on from leadership to work-life balance, because
excellent.
after having listened to all these responsibilities and duties and long hours to actually conceptualize, to plant the seeds, to start up the dream, and then to gradually implement the vision to bring it to the growth phase where it is, this must have involved a lot of painstaking effort. And I'm sure that the listeners and those who will be inspired by this conversation and by Marianna will be wondering is this something that is, first of all, is this dream valid? Is it achievable? What is the cost? And once you begin to implement it, what is, let's say, the toll that it will take into the dreamer's life? And generally, whether you have managed, and the two are interrelated, to find a kind of an acceptable harmony which can help you continue flourishing without unnecessary discounts to your family, to your loved ones, to your own health, to your own personal well-being. So keeping the balance between the health of the projects and your own personal as well as your familial balance and harmony.
I could easily lie and say it was an easy ride.
Please share your
But
thoughts.
no, it's not 50-50.
Mhm.
First of all, you have to be dedicated in the two things that you want in your life. And my father always said to me that life is two things. One is the personal relationships, including your family, and the
Mhm.
second one is your job. So you spend 50% with number one and 50% with number two. So if number one or number two is a disaster, so you are an unhappy person. So that was always the advice that I took from him. I always wanted to have a family because I grew up without my mother, and then I lost my dad and my sister. So family for me is very important. However, during this 10-year journey in the startup ecosystem, I will not lie. I work very long hours. I used to work during the weekends, and it's not only actually being away from home, it's also when you are absent-minded and when you try to sleep and you just think about the problems, the challenges, when instead of actually being there with your kids, your mind is somewhere else. So this for me had to change. So now I dedicate in quality time with my children and quality time at work, because you might be at work and not be effective, not be efficient. So you have to live, you have to change your environment. So I'm really lucky that I can choose the times of the day, the hours that I can actually work effectively, and the time that I spend with my kids and my husband. At the same time, you have to create a very organized system in order to take care of practical things. Who is picking up the kids from school? Who is studying with the kids? Who is cooking? Things that they are, our everyday life. So once I orchestrate this amazing system, I think my life became easier. However, I don't have time for myself. And this is something that I have and I need to change, because I give my everything to everybody else, either the companies, the family, my husband, my friends, and I don't give anything to me. So this will have its toll. I can feel it. So it's something that for 2024, it has to change.
Is what they say on airplanes when the plane takes off about the mask, saying that when they demonstrate the safety measures, say that always put your own mask first, and then, God forbid, then you put the mask on the people next to you. So self-care and self-love is very important. And the thing is that nobody will prioritize it for us except for ourselves. Well, if I can share a few thoughts on the balance conversation, which is always in fashion, like work-life balance, I have come to a point where I think I found a new model of thinking about work-life balance, and I wrote a blog post a few months ago called The Balance Sheet of Life. So the balance sheet in accounting terms. I came to realize that life is like a balance sheet. So on the one hand, you have debits, and credits. And in what sense? Think of a scale where you have debits or debts, but debits is better, and credits. So the credits that you have are like your gifts, your talents, your health, your rights as a citizen, as an individual, your as a personality, your experience, your studies, your knowledge. So these are the credits, okay? Your luck. But on the other hand, you have the debits in inverted commas. Your debits are your responsibilities, are your duties, let's say, are your problems, your personal problems. If you twist a problem, what is a personal problem? It's a personal goal. It's your own unique problem. We don't have all the problems in the world. We have our own problems. So if your life is plagued with too many debts, only responsibilities, only people to take care of, only duties, only bills to pay, only chores, okay, you will be miserable and you will be suffer from anxiety and depression. So if the scale tips heavily in the side of debts and you only have debts, you will be miserable and anxious. On the other hand, on the opposite end, if your life only has credits, which is you are extremely talented, gifted, you have money, you have skills, you are lucky to live you are healthy, but you don't have any debts, you don't have any duties, any responsibilities, you don't have people to care for, you don't have your chores, you don't have things to invest your attention to. This is a recipe for boredom and and depression as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because human beings, I believe, are meant to carry a load. As people, we need a struggle. We need a good struggle. So in my view, to summarize my monologue, my little rant, a balanced life is one which includes a healthy combination of rights, opportunities, gifts, skills, and duties, responsibilities, burdens, so to speak, chores, even chores. And that, I think the sweet spot lies somewhere there. And it took me approximately 44 years to arrive at that point. I don't know if you think that it's something that
I
is
totally
meaningful.
agree because life is unpredictable, and that's the amazing about life. It's not always a straight line. At some points of your life, you can be completely miserable because you run out of luck. People might die around you. You might run out of money, and this happens to everybody. But I'm always a positive person. And I'm always trying to find either plan B, C, and I can never, never, ever be miserable. Even in really, hard times when I spent like time when I was losing my sister from cancer, I was always trying to be, the positive person around and try to find even, happy moments with her. So it's a matter of how you can, manage all these unfortunate events that may happen into your life, and always appreciate that you are here and alive. Appreciate the small, happy moments of our life. For me, it's amazing that in the morning we dedicate 15 minutes with the kids to, have, bed hugs and, start our day in, hugging people. That's what we lose, say good morning, say a joke. I mean, you get into a very important meeting and everybody's serious. But if you say to them, come on, you might die tomorrow. What's the point? You have to, harvest the good things around you, the good energy. I mean, it really bothers me that we're losing our humane side. And this is what I'm trying, to preserve in my life, in a daily life. So small moments that you drive and you hear an amazing music, an amazing song that you forgot about for the past 20 years, that I can enjoy my coffee with my best friend that I know 22 years and, have this marvelous talk. So these little things you have to appreciate and remind to yourself. And if something is bothers you that much that it will depress you, you have to change it, or maybe you can look it from another side. So it's a very personal thing, but I believe that you always have to be optimistic
and useful.
Useful.
Is your mantra, I think.
That's yeah, but it was my husband's say. He told me, I remember it was before I got an award. It was the Madame Figaro Woman of the Year.
One of many. Marianna.
And I was very stressed to write. I didn't know that I would win the award, but I had to write a speech. So I was speaking to him. It was my first speech, my first nomination for an award. And he said, "Why are you getting stressed? You are such a happy person." I was like, "But why? Why?" Because you are useful. And usefulness is happiness. So I start thinking about that when you are useful, when you are offering to the people, either to your family, when you are offering even a good morning to a person in the bakery that you're going to go and get, your piece of bread, or when you try to offer, solutions for the people that they are in need and you are useful, that's happiness. So when I speak with my friends and they say, "But I have to cook, I have to do that." Yes, but you are offering an amazing plate of food to your family. And you have to appreciate that, because today you have your family, tomorrow you might not have it. So being useful is happiness for me.
It's fantastic. And it reminds me of a quote by, I think it was Lao Tzu, who said that the useful part of a pot is the emptiness inside the pot. Talking about usefulness, okay? And I'm having this train of thought. I mean, look at this glass, okay? We have a glass. If you think about it, what's useful and functional about the glass is the emptiness, because of the ability to carry water, to drink water, and so on. But inevitably, you need to have the glass, and the glass is a constraint, okay? The glass is a constraint, because if you remove the glass, you don't have a carrier, a carriage vessel. And what is a constraint? The constraint is what we said before about, remember the balance sheet. So a duty or a responsibility is the way you look at it, can be seen as a constraint, because you need to commit to caring about your loved ones, to caring about your companies, to caring about the community. These are obligations, because any obligation can be seen as a constraint, okay? So think about the totality of your obligations or duties or responsibilities as forming, let's say, the glass of your life. So, and this constraint is what makes the space within useful. So without the constraint, you are devoid of the usefulness and the vitality of life. So we need both the vessel, the constraint, and the emptiness to have a useful and fulfilling life.
I totally agree.
You agree?
I totally agree.
It's always a dance between constraint and freedom. And to go back to the beginning, because we need to wrap it up and to move to the wonderful products that I see there. In the beginning, if you allow me to make an improvisational summary, we touched upon the interplay between the creativity and structure, or exploration and building. So you see, we have this tension always, the imagining and the creating, or the discovering and the building. And here we have the same interplay. We have the constraint and the freedom and the emptiness. I believe that a truly fulfilling life lies at being able to engage in the steps of this dance between freedom and creative constraint, or vision and discipline. If we manage to navigate the narrow path between these two, let's say, domains, we will be able to walk steadily in a flourishing and well-grounded future. That's my summary, whether it is in the biotech sector or in innovative domains, or perhaps in any domain that one can choose to embark on.
It works everywhere. And another thing is that we have to remind ourselves how and where did you start and where you want to go, and do all this with compassion and authenticity, and sharing either the success or the usefulness with the rest of the people, the rest of the community, your loved ones or your new friends. So sharing and offering.
And connecting.
Yeah.
And we have, if you can make a quick summary, I'm sure you can, in terms of an elevator pitch propositions of the three companies that I'm sure the listeners and the watchers will be very interested to have a snapshot of. So you have Theramir, which is a company that is active in personalized medicine, right?
Yeah.
Like a couple of words.
Therami is an R&D-based company that we have technology, we have patents working on nanotechnology and microRNAs in order to offer personalized treatments for oncology patients. It's an amazing and a breakthrough technology that we identify new pathways of treatment. We are currently, it's a mature technology that we're currently looking for partners internationally to either license the technology or move into clinical trials phase 1. The second company, Promet Biosciences, we are manufacturing biomaterials, as I say, for life. So we're working with biomaterials based on medical atelocollagen for bioprinting of artificial organs, or even for wound healing, wound management, everything that has to do with regenerative medicine. And the third company that came even as a surprise to me, I started as a hobby and in the memory of my sister, is RSL Revolutionary Labs. We have a line of 6 products, and slowly we're going to have 8. It has to do with caring for the skin toxicities that the oncology patients have after the harsh treatments of either chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or the new biologicals. So everything in my mind is about offering a holistic solution to either people under oncology care, but even everybody else that, as we're getting older and we increase the life expectancy, you need to take extra care of yourself, something that I don't do, but I will soon start. So, and we can offer some products for you here today for our audience.
Fantastic.
So 3 packs of our RSL products for sensitive skin, and start taking care of yourself.
Fantastic. So to the people watching or listening, you can share this episode, and we will have a ballot. Share it, subscribe to this channel, as well as to the pages of RSL Labs on social media, and we will make a draw so as to give 3
packets of our products.
Marvelous products by RSL. Marianna, it's been really a pleasure having you as the first guest of the new phase of the podcast.
No
Thank you so
pressure.
much. I wish you the best for this new year, a lot of success, balance, and personal fulfillment. Thank you so
very
much.
much. Thank you very much.
Close my eyes and stretch my soul to gather